Hello everybody, welcome back to another Friday night edition of our Friday night live forging live stream. We are going to continue this little process on this 8-pound wrought iron hammer with steel faces welded in, and glad to have you along for part of the ride. So earlier this week I went ahead and prepped, or late last week, I prepped the hammer faces to be welded on. I'm hoping to get to that during this stream this evening, but there's no guarantees. I also did a little community post. You can check it in the community section on the channel. I did a little community post where I showed how I pinned on the cheek pieces. So what we're working on tonight is we're going to go ahead and fully weld in the cheek pieces with the hopes of being able to get one, if not both, hammer faces welded on this evening. So that's what we'll be working on. If you're watching this on the replay, you can watch this first or early part in 2x speed, or maybe jump to about 30 minutes in, because about that time we will actually take a welding heat on this. So for everybody who's on the live stream, you're welcome to chat it up, send your questions and thoughts my way, and always appreciate the love. And yeah, so we're here. How's everybody doing out there?
Let's see who we have in here so far. Royal Crow Forge, you're the first.
Royal Crow Forge, hello, hello.
Also, What the Forge says hi, Roy and Jess.
Hello, hello. What the Forge? Glad to have you as part of the stream, sir.
Brian Neely, Curtis McPherson, Evan Coughlin.
Evan Coughlin, hello, hello. Good to have everybody part of the stream.
Granddad's Forge, Billy Strong, Hammer Time New York says hello all.
Hello, hello.
Frank Strock, Jason Sullivan, For the Honor Forge, Paul Ellis, Corey Shire.
Hello, everyone. Good to see the regular crew here this evening.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being a part of the stream.
Is it warm enough for us? Yeah, it's pretty toasty.
Very warm.
It's, the weather forecast is in the 90s for Ohio for quite a while.
Yep, definitely hot enough. I can take winter now.
What the Forge says, great, editing my next video as we speak.
Awesome. Good luck on the editing while you watch.
Corey Shire says, Captain Roy is streaming live.
That I am. Ahoy, mateys. Come aboard, ye scallywags. All right, there's enough of that, Tom Corey.
Let's see, Billy Strong, hope everyone is here with the Comcast crash.
What?
Comcast crash. Haven't heard. We use satellite internet, so
Yep.
don't know about that. Paula says Susan also says she is having computer issues.
Oh no.
So Graham having internet issues there. So you guys let me know down in the comments if it's this stream specifically or you're just referring to
they said a Comcast cable crash.
Well, yeah.
So if you're on Comcast, we can't help you. But if it's this stream that's glitchy, let us know and we'll try to do something about it. So this evening, I'm going to go ahead and wipe this off here over this area. Or actually, better yet, I'm not going to wipe that off. I'm going to find my little slate of steel I had the other day, and I'm going to write on it. I'm going to chalk in over at the anvil what I basically have done to this piece of wrought iron. It's right here, and I got to find a piece of chalk.
Not an anvil.
There's just a big, large sprayer.
Yeah.
Tractor, so. Alright. Good, there you go. So I'm going to write up what it is that I did for this, for the cheek pieces. I want to draw this real quick for you guys. And then I'll go to the anvil cam and I'll show it for you there. Questions, Jess? Answers?
All right. Yes, there is one about your blower. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. Evan Coughlin says, actually, why do you prefer a hand crank blower than electric, and where did you get the blower? I personally prefer the hand crank.
Okay, so the This came with the forge. The blower came with the forge. It's what I've used for the last decade of my life. So that's where I've got preference for it. I have used electric blowers and they have their place, and in fact I've got some very large hammer billets that I'm going to be doing here very soon in namely to speak of a big 30-pound billet, and I'm building a coke forge for the 30-pound billet of steel, and I'm going to be using an electric blower on that because a coke forge, you'll never keep it lit with a hand crank blower. So, or you will, but very laborious to do so. So I will be using an electric blower in that case. I prefer hand crank or even bellows. I haven't got to use bellows a whole lot. I only used them once ever, and they were kind of nice, but it was kind of like, oh yeah, pull on that, okay, great, and then that was it. You know, I didn't really get to do much smithing or a full day with it. So I like more traditional tools if you can. When it comes to my work or my business, I go modern all the way. So, for instance, you're not going to pay me enough to take and crank all day to get a 30-pound piece of steel hot. Build a coke forge, put a real big blower on it so I can get enough air in it to get a 30-pound piece hot. And so the job just calls for it. Good?
Yes. Let's see. Drayson69, Roy and Jess, post office says the package should be in your P.O. box tomorrow. Good. We'll have to take a look. We stopped in there today. It'd been like a month before we looked in it, and we just had one piece of junk mail.
Yeah, that's all we had today. It was just a piece of junk mail.
County Line Forge, grinding my sword, listening to you in my headphones.
Woo! Good to have you here, County Line Forge. Thank you, James, for taking a moment to come by.
Coffee's Forge said yes, the hospital kicked him out this afternoon. There's a few subscribers asking if he got out of the hospital yet.
I didn't know you were in the hospital, sir. I'm glad to hear that you're okay enough to go home, though. Okay, let's go to the anvil, Jess.
All right.
I've got this drawn up here, at least the way I'm going to like to draw it up. Everybody can see that just fine. I drew it big enough.
Yeah,
good?
Plenty big.
Okay, so basically what we've got here is a cutaway. You're looking down on top of the hammer billet. This is the top of the hammer billet, and I've got a cutaway of what I've done. Basically, I have drilled holes through the cheek pieces on top and bottom, and then I have inserted a piece of bar stock, like so, and I riveted it inside the hole. And what that does is this creates a blind rivet, or what they call a pocket rivet. And when you hammer it down, it expands inside the hole and creates a lateral force this way and this way inside the hammer billet itself, and it's a blind rivet basically. And this is a really traditional way of attaching pieces when you're working by yourself if you don't have a welder. I hate seeing welding boogers in a piece where you've welded, you've put a little tack weld on there, and you've got a little welding booger now that is always part of the piece that is not wrought iron. It's just a foreign piece. And if you polish it, you etch it, you do anything like that, you're going to see that foreign welding booger right there on wherever you tacked it in, unless you grind it out. But then you're losing material, and therefore you're losing mass. This here is just as quick to run yourself down some real quick rivets and put them into the holes. Now I know what you're going to ask. What type of rivet did I use? I took another piece of high tension wrought iron from a high tension bar and drew it down to rivet stock. Hopefully everybody can see that just fine. I drew it down to 3/8 inch in diameter, or 9.5 mil in diameter, and then I drilled a hole that was slightly oversized of that, so this way I could do the upsetting operation into the cheek pieces.
We're getting a little bit of freezing here on the screen. You guys will have to let me know if that's coming in on your end as well. Let me switch. The main cam's good. Let me try switching back real quick.
Okay.
We're getting a freezing on our secondary camera here.
Okay, let us know if we're still here on the secondary.
Unplug that.
Oh, now we're dark.
Alright, give me 1 second.
Now we should be back here in a moment. Momentitas. Senoritas.
Anything? Nope. Didn't work yet.
Not good? We'll just go to the main cam while
Okay.
you close that
All
secondary cam.
Yeah. We could go on main cam.
Alright, are we good? Can everybody see me on the main cam? Jessica's having some technical difficulties.
You're fine. You're fine on the main cam.
Good?
Yep.
Everybody saying I'm good? Let me get this.
He said it was
Straight.
just for a moment.
Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so basically, the cheek pieces have been riveted on. That is just so this way I can hold the cheek pieces on and I don't have two separate pieces I'm trying to bring up to forge welding heat. I can bring the whole billet up to forge welding heat now, and I can weld both faces at once. One face will be down, one face will be on top. Weld, flip it over, weld, and then blend out seams and yada, yada, yada. But that will get it welded on. The rivets are just temporary. They're not meant to be a feature set. They're just meant to be temporary or hold it in place while it gets welded. Now, the great part about this is as I'm forge welding, these will weld themselves into the rest of the stuff. Hopefully that makes sense. And if it doesn't and you need me to repeat this information, just go ahead and ask me to, and I will. I'll set this aside here, and I'll get back to cranking here, so I can get it up hot. Now, since these pieces are not totally together, that means they're acting as three individual pieces. You have to treat them as three individual pieces being in the fire. Even though they're attached to the same big block, they are going to heat quicker. Your cheek pieces will heat up a lot quicker than the main body of the wrought iron. So you got to be careful about turning those down in the fire and letting the hottest part of the fire come in contact with your cheek piece. Because you'll bring it up to welding heat while the big billet is still not even there. So we're having it where the cheek pieces are running up and down like this, so we're basically heating the ends of the cheek piece. Then we're flipping it over, and so on and so forth until that billet, the full billet, comes up to welding heat. Hopefully that makes sense.
Corey Shire asked why you're welding cheek pieces on.
One, to give it more mass. Two, if I did not weld cheek pieces on, I would have to forge in and out, if you will. I would have to take and forge in an area for me to have the little side plate where I'm going to ornamentate it with decorative chasing, right? So I was going to do a face on this. I'm on the fence whether I'm still going to do that based upon time, but I'm going to try to do a face. I'm going to be decorating this with an ornamental face on the side of the hammer. In order to get that embossed look, or like it's just sitting on there, or like it was a separate piece, I would have to butcher into the wrought iron and move the material away and forge away from that center section, so this way it would look like it was pronounced of the surface level. But doing it this way, welding on cheek pieces, it's already pronounced of the surface level, and I have a lot more leeway and a lot more expression that I can do then with the faces on the hammer. So
All right. I still haven't got that second camera squared away. I'll have to add in another scene. But let me. There's a few things. Paul Ellis, $10 super chat. He said, just wanted to say thanks.
awesome. Thank you, Paul Ellis. Everybody give him a hand clap if you haven't done so already. God bless you.
For the Honor Forge says, Roy, did you get my email about bellows?
For the Honor Forge, I have not, sir. Or if I did, I haven't checked it. We just got back from vacation, so I'll look into that this evening, sir.
Graham says he got his jig in the mail yesterday.
Awesome, Graham. Hopefully you've been enjoying it, sir.
Coffee's Forge said it was a heart attack scare. I'm good. Blood pressure spiked and tried to take me out.
Hey, dude. Gotta lay up off them greasy cheeseburgers, right? Who am I kidding? Everybody loves a good greasy cheeseburger.
Let's see.
I am glad it was just a scare, sir. And that you are still alive and kicking.
John Lavender says, evening all, stay cool. YouTube is playing with notifications again. I checked my bell and it shows that I should get them all. Knowing what times you upload should help me check. So our normal morning upload is 6 a.m. Is that correct, Troy?
Yep, that's our normal morning.
And then we have at 3 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time, we have a little short business chat video.
Yep.
And then as far as our live stream on Friday, we have our forging live stream at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, we have a business live stream.
Yep.
So that summarizes all of that.
Yeah, so we took a little vacation. We went and rented a cabin down at Hocking Hills State Park. Jessica and I and the kids just needed a little time away to unplug. We were completely out of cell phone coverage, which means out of YouTube coverage, which was well needed to take a break. Not that we don't love you all, but it's nice to get away from you from time to time. And we got, and basically it was going to be our vacation until I'm pretty much busy for working 90-hour weeks for the next 4 months. So I've got about 8 months worth of work sold, and that I have got to work on, and that's 8 40-hour-a-week months full of work. So a lot of work ahead of me here. So we decided we'd go ahead and play hooky for a little bit, and so we have not been taking messages or anything else like that, or replying to emails, whatever. So we are severely backlogged, so we are trying to catch up with everybody.
Yep.
But the reason why I mentioned that is we didn't post anything. Jessica did her 3 at 3s. She had those scheduled, but I had forgot personally to schedule out my videos that I had planned for while we were gone. And so you might not have been getting notifications because there wasn't videos coming through. So.
Yep, that was definitely part of it. And it happened to downpour both of the days we were there.
Yes.
Yeah, it was very rainy.
Very interesting.
Monsoon-like weather, but we did go hike to the falls one day, and we got drenched doing that, but at least it was not cold water, so.
Yep.
Rishi, yes, we remember you. And Spencer Coots asked, am I allowed to mail you guys a product? Suppose if we got enough mail stuff, we could do a mail time video of some sort.
Yes, you can, Spencer Coots.
Yeah. If you want to mail us something, our address is Christ-Centered Ironworks, P.O. Box 315, New Lebanon, Ohio 45345.
Yep.
And I'll touch on that again if I need to say it again.
Yep.
So before you pull that out of the fire, Roy, I need a second to adjust the secondary screen and the microphones.
Go ahead, do your thing. Adjust your screen, add your scene, and all that other good stuff. Alright, so it's officially like 150 degrees right here by the fire right now. It's quite spicy. I'm going to take this moment to talk a little bit about working in hot weather. One of the biggest things that you can do to help yourself work in hot weather is you need to take and acclimatize yourself to that weather long before you start forging. So that means you need to go outside, you need to take a walk, it needs to be for at least 20 minutes. You need to do something semi-vigorous, like walking, pacing, something of that nature, getting your tools prepped, whatever it is in the shop, before you light the forge and get going and get heavy hammering, okay? Do not make the mistake of being in the air-conditioned house, getting all nice and chilled down, then walk out into where a gas forge has been running in a shop and has been bringing the temperature of that shop up to 140, 150 degrees. Because if you do, you will pass out. Not a good thing. The other thing is to take and stay very well hydrated. Very well hydrated. Drink an excessive amount of water. And I do mean excessive. I've got a Coleman cooler right here full of water. It's full of ice water, although lukewarm water is better in really hot applications. The reason why is it won't cramp your stomach. If you get super hot, if you get super cold water, you can end up having a case of diarrhea. It can really hurt your stomach and cramp you up. So just some things to think about from time to time and whatnots. But this is, these are things that nobody thinks about in this craft until, unfortunately, sometimes it's too late. Sometimes it's too late to think about these things because you've been forging for 20 minutes already, and you realize, whoa, man, I'm dizzy. I'm about to pass out. Jessica, you've moved that all the way down where my head's completely cut off here.
I know. Our second camera's down completely right now.
Okay, well, I'd rather them see my face.
Okay.
I'm not ready to pull this out.
Okay.
I'll move it back. There you go. I don't want to be the headless guy while I'm standing here talking.
Alright.
Until you get the camera back up.
I don't think I can without shutting off OBS. I tried replacing it.
It won't do it?
No, it's just showing up as a glitchy screen.
Okay, she still have technical difficulties. Okay, but just keep working at that for a second. I mean, we've got 20 minutes, huh?
Okay.
Young lass messing with my camera. There we go. When I get ready to go for this weld, I'll just point you all down at the anvil if we don't have the secondary camera angle up just then. So yeah, so heat management, keeping yourself cool is a really big important part of blacksmithing. When it's in the winter months, you have a tendency to freeze, not sweat, especially if you're in an uninsulated shop like I am. And then in the summer, you've got the opposite problem. You can't do nothing but sweat. So you get used to it. So definitely acclimatize yourself if you can to the heat. And it's worth taking that extra 20 minutes ahead. Woo! Alright. So Jessica's still working on the secondary camera, I think?
Yeah, I'm trying.
You are?
Yep.
Okay. This is getting up pretty close to temperature. It's at about what you would consider a very, very light welding heat. Not a very high heat at all. So we need to get this up to an almost full welding heat because we're trying to get both cheek pieces welded in if we can. And since these are riveted on, and we'll be taking your guys' questions here in just a minute as soon as we get that back. Get that camera back. Or if we abort it altogether. We'll take it here in just a minute. But one of the other reasons why we want to get this thing up to a good full welding heat is because we want to be able to blow out any scale or any sort of impurities. Now, wrought iron is self-fluxing, so it will flux itself. But whenever you're attaching a big flat piece to another big flat piece, it's hard to make sure you blow out all the impurities. So the higher that heat is, the easier it is for that surface to be molten and to expel those impurities that happen to be in the iron itself. So that's what we're working on right now, is just trying to get it hot enough. Going to bring the whole piece up to a weld heat and get it welded in. How we doing, hon?
Still nothing. It's froze on that one spot, even with me
okay, well,
reset it.
Why don't you ask the viewers? It might be froze on your side.
Okay.
Jessica's going to switch. Hold on 1 second. If you could do us a favor, let us know if the secondary camera is in action or in play. So, Jessica, you ready to switch?
Yep.
Let her know in the comment section. She's going to scene 2 now.
All right.
Okay.
Should be something showing.
Doesn't line back up. So hopefully you guys can see something here. I'm hammering around. Hopefully this will work. Hopefully that'll work. People will see us. We're here, we're here!
What the forge, $2. Sorry you're having so many technical difficulties. Thank you.
We appreciate the sympathy super chat, What the Forge.
Yes. Yeah, it's froze.
Okay, it's froze. No one's seeing me.
Nope.
Okay. Alright, well, we'll just go to the main camera then. And maybe that'll come up later, I don't know. Well, that's a bummer.
That is, yeah.
So basically the only way to rectify that issue is to close down OBS and reopen it. Is from what Jessica's telling me.
Yep.
So we'll do this the old-fashioned way. So just to talk about what I'm getting here, right now I'm finding it hard with the size confinement of my forge to get both cheeks up to welding heat. Ideally you want to get both cheeks and the whole billet up to one of these big beautiful white heats and then forge weld it all together. But right now I've got the bottom cheek ready for welding and the bottom surface of the billet up to a high welding heat. And so I'm going to pull it out to the anvil and I'm going to go ahead and forge it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it down there. Is there any questions before I pull this out and start welding that up? Then I'll have to flip it and I'll have to weld in the other cheek.
All right, they can hear you now.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Everybody can hear me and see me, the whole yards, yada, yada, yada?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to pull this camera down here to the anvil. And we are going to take a welding heat. Hopefully that's enough in focus for everybody's business. Is it looking focused, Jess?
Yes, it looks in focus.
Okay, we're going to pull this out and we're going to weld in just the one face for right now. So we are going to get this pulled out and weld up the first face. Alright. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, there's the first face welded in. Welded up. It definitely took, which is a good thing. Now you can see how this face isn't took, hopefully. It's probably still too white hot, but that face is welded in. It's cooling down at the same rate as the billet. This face, however, is not.
It's a little darker, yeah.
So we are going to stick that one down and bring it up to welding heat now. With a little more coke in there. Build this back up. Give me a second and I'll move the camera.
All right. VG Cannon, don't feel bad about tech problems. They happen and you're trying to meld two differing systems. Yep.
Yeah, well, this shouldn't be a problem, but it's decided to be, so.
Yeah, last time I was able to fix the problem by turning off the camera, restarting it, and adding another scene. This time that exact same solution did nothing for it, so kind of a bummer.
The only other thing I think of is maybe you're not getting a feed from the HDMI cord.
Could be.
Alright, let me get that cranked up. Sorry there, ladies and gents. There we go. Let's hopefully that's still in focus and all that other good jazz. You look good, Jess?
Yes.
Okay.
Good. Dana Maggiore says, "Hey guys, last week's live show I made a super chat and you called me a she, but I'm a he. It happens all the time.
Sorry about that.
We apologize. Is the steel from a car strut good steel for tooling? Love the live show."
I do not know on a car strut. I know usually springs are. I would imagine the shafting on a car strut would be good quality steel. I doubt it would be a low quality steel. Oh, and sorry about calling you a dude.
A she.
A she.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
But yeah.
What was the name again?
Dana.
And what was the gender?
Dana Maggiore. And
Dana is a guy. Yes? Okay, Dana. Sorry.
let's see. Spencer Coos, it's okay. We don't want to see your face anyway.
Hey! What's wrong with you?
No Pirate Roy?
No Pirate or Roy.
Maybe
no
if you had the
Roy.
parrot on your shoulder, you know,
Yeah.
then they'd care more.
Walk off camera here for a second.
All right.
See if that's any better now that I've really plugged that in.
All right, let me check it again. Anvil cam, nothing.
Anvil cam, nothing?
I'm gonna try, let me remove it maybe. I'm gonna try removing it.
Okay, give me 1 second, we'll close this door. Ay, ay, ay! See what happens when you go on vacation?
Yeah.
You have nothing but technical difficulties.
Come back.
Nothing but.
Come back to a mess. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we got it. I think we fixed it. Yay! Alright, it's just not in focus. But
Okay, I'll get it in focus. You just
okay.
you just settle, girl.
I just settled. Oh, hang on. I gotta turn off the extra audio here. Alright, that should take care of the audio.
Oh,
If there was a little echo.
there we go. Got to look focus now?
Yes, you're in focus. Okay. Are we good now?
Alright, I think we're good. Hey?
Okay, I
Let's
think
hope.
we're good.
Alright, let me get this adjusted again. Gee, well.
Oh, it's... Okay.
Huh?
It says it's overloading.
Overloading. Nothing like it. Why not? How's it going now?
It's still overloaded.
Still overloaded? Background process?
No, it's not the background processes.
It's OBS? Okay. Alright, well, if we go dark, we'll be back in about 25 minutes when it comes back live.
Yep.
And we'll weld in this other hammer face. Hopefully everybody's still there. Doing good. And thank you all for your super chats. God bless you, by the way. Just wanted to put that out there. And I am sorry to anybody who I've gotten names or genders wrong. So, especially you, Dana.
By the way, he said, yes, I was talking about the shaft from the shock absorber.
Okay, yeah, so the shock absorber or strut, if you will, I would imagine that shaft is made out of very high quality material because it has to withstand a lot of tensile strength of strain this way. So I would assume it's made out of very reputable steel. I doubt they would just make it out of any old steel, that material I wouldn't. going?
All right, Ed Christini, sorry but have to go. Good night, all.
Thank you for
You have a
being
good
here.
night.
Good luck.
All right, they said it was a little skippy, but it was playing, so on the anvil cam. So
Okay, well, as long as it's playing.
good to know.
How's it saying? Is it still saying overloaded?
No, but I have it on the big screen right now because you're looking at the main cam.
Okay, so let's hope that's going to be okay.
Graham, thank you for the $2 super chat.
Graham, thank you for your support as always, sir. Bless you for that. Everybody give Graham a hand clap.
Hammer Time New York, loving the From Stone to Bone to Iron t-shirt. A few people saw me wearing it. Awesome. It got there pretty quick then.
Yeah, that's
Good.
cool. I'm glad you bought that, and thank you for your support of the channel with buying some merchandise.
Yeah, Roy's like, you don't have the shirt on today, and I didn't think to change right before the live stream.
Yeah.
Should have had one on.
It's a hot one tonight.
Yeah. Do you need that door to stay closed, Roy?
Huh?
Do you need that door to stay closed?
Yeah, there's direct sunlight right on the camera lens.
Oh, gotcha.
Alright, is it too dark?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Happy Hammer Forge asks, is rebar a good steel for tongs?
Rebar has questionable qualities. There's some good rebar. There's, I guess, junk rebar from older buildings and things like that. If it's all you have for tong making, it's perfectly suitable. You can make tongs out of it. It would be my suggestion. Making out a fairly thick rebar. A lot of people want to make them out of 3/8" round stock, and there's just not enough mass in 3/8" round rebar to provide you with a really good long-term pair of tongs. Now, can you get by with it? Yes, you can, but it won't. I've made some myself, but usually where it's lacking is the hinge joint, where the hinge plate is. There's just not enough mass there to create a really good, strong hinge plate in the tongs. But that's been what I have found. Again, you can use it out of a lot larger stuff, maybe 1/2 inch to 5/8 would be better. 5/8 definitely, because you can make a decent pair of tongs out of 5/8 rebar if you can get your hands on it. We got this up pretty good and hot. I think we are almost at a full welding heat here.
George Villa says, hey guys, I'm a heavy equipment mechanic. When I have a rusty bolt or have to cut something, I use a torch. And when I use it, I use special glasses to check the temperature of my steel. Can those glasses be used for the forge?
They can, but it would be very hard to see your material and what you're doing. Some people like just wearing sunglasses. It's good to protect your eyes from UV rays. I use 3M safety glasses, and they have built-in UV protection to a degree, although they probably do not filter out all types of UV rays. So beware on the nomenclature there. But welding goggles or cutting goggles are a bit dark to do general forging with. Maybe in operations where you're doing forge welding and things like that, where you're bringing it at such a high heat, that would be very beneficial to have. So let's go over to the anvil cam. Hopefully this switch will work okay. We won't go dark.
So far, so good.
Okay, we're good and hot. Hopefully we're not glitchy. I'm going to pull this billet out, and I'm going to weld up this second cheek piece. That cleaned off. Okay. My cheek pieces, getting pretty close to being welded in. This one I think is going to require at least one more heat on it. Maybe that one as well. So we're going to have to take another heat on both of these. But they're both cooling off at a standard rate, like one another. So that's a good thing. Get all this excess oxidization off for the length of time it's had to stay in the forge. We'll be good to go.
What the forge says, loving the anvil cam with the sparks shooting right at it.
Hopefully that's all, everybody's seeing that just fine.
Yeah, it's a little glitchy, but it's still going.
Okay. Alright, let me brush this off the bottom.
Alright.
So I'm going to notate something here for everybody. I can't see if I'm in the shot because you moved the camera lens, but
Yeah, I just didn't want it to get scale on it.
if you notice there's a difference in color temperature, this right up here, up top, can they see this?
Yep.
I can't tell.
Alright.
If you see this right here, see how this is darkened off? Everybody see that?
Yep.
What that is this is up from here. This is not fully down here. See? Mm-hmm. It's not in a welding plane. So it's sucking the heat out of there first. But if you notice down here, see how it's all the same color temperature? Down on bottom? It's cooling off the same. That's how we know that that's welded together. Same thing here. On this side, there's no weld underneath it, and so therefore it's cooling off quicker. Same thing with this bottom little nub here. It's cooling off a little quicker. Hopefully everybody can see that. It's cooling off right in there with Mr. Thing. This part here's cooling off, and this part here's cooling off. That is because they are above the welding surfaces. So don't be fooled by that. They are welded in. Hopefully everybody like that.
Mm-hmm. Hammer Time New York agrees sparklers were cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I ducked on that one behind the computer because that was a lot.
Yeah, there is a lot of welding slag that comes off these hammers when you do them. Alright, so now the next step, now we got the cheek welded on, and they're welded in, and there is still a lot of work yet to be done on these. I've got to heat this back up, and I've got to planish out the surface material, like so. And this one over here is going to take one more little welding heat, which I'm going to do now. I'm going to come in here and weld it in this direction, and then straight down like that, to try to get this little area. There's a place where the rivet has stretched, and it didn't quite come together, so I'm going to weld that in, take a light welding heat on, and then we can put on the hammer faces, like so, which that's probably dark as all get out now. But we'll do that by bringing this out, setting it on the hammer face material, the barbs, and just giving it a good whack. And that'll have it up to a good temp where we can then put the face, the first face in the fire and get it forge welded on. Hopefully that makes sense.
Spencer Coots asks, are these wrought iron hammers for product or for you to keep?
This one here is for me to keep. So this one will be with me until I no longer forge anymore in my life, when I retire. So I do sell a version of wrought iron hammers, however be it they're very expensive. I do sell a wrought iron hammer, or I can make you one, but they are double the cost of my regular hammers. Excuse the equipment coming through. Alright, back to the main cam, babe?
Yep.
Alright.
Let's see. Another question for you.
Okay.
David Burson, the wife wanted 36-ounce billet of 9310 at our guild meeting, and we were going to make a hammer for her. Any thoughts on using that steel for a hammer?
I have never heard of 9310. 100% disclosure there. I've never heard of 9310. 1095, Yes, great steel. 9310, have not a clue, never heard of it. Best way to do that is to Google what 9310 is, and it's forgeability. If it doesn't say a lot about forgeability and it says a bunch about machinability, like it's a great machining steel, usually it's not ductile enough when it's really great at machining. Usually, if they talk all about the machining characteristics and nothing about forgeability, usually the forgeability of it's very low and not a good steel to be forged with. So, hopefully that'll help you. But awesome on the score on a big billet.
Yeah.
3 pounds.
Yeah, that's pretty
Or
cool.
whatever 36 ounces is. Not 3 pounds.
2.
2
Or
pounds.
well,
No.
a little over 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Graham Pepper says, my sister and mother came up from Tasmania due to my breathing difficulty. My sister is going back today. Can you give her a thank you for me? Her name is Francine.
Francine, thank you for taking care of our brother in Christ all the way down there in Australia, wherever you're at, Graham, in Australia. I know I should know your address by heart, but thank you very much for taking care of him. He's a longtime supporter of the channel, always has something positive and encouraging to say, not only to us, but others in the chat, and you couldn't ask for a better brother. So, we all can use a good sister to take care of us from time to time. Is that right, Jess?
That's right.
Woo!
Let's see.
Ay, ay, ay. Gotta get cool.
Paul
Stay
Ellis
cool.
said AISI 9310 is a low alloy steel containing nickel, chromium, and molybdenum, noted for its good hardenability with high impact and fatigue strength. It is often used. All right.
One of these days they'll be done.
It is often
What?
used for carburized case-hardened parts.
Really? Huh.
That's what. Yep. Somebody else agreed.
So it said low ductility or high?
High hardenability,
High hardenability.
high pore hardness, and high fatigue strength.
Okay. Those are all good things. Is it all machinable or is it forgeable? The ductility will be the big key there. So one of the misconceptions about hammers are that you need them to be glass hard. And in fact, that's actually the opposite of what you need a hammer to be. You need a hammer to be like a digging bar, or a hammer to be like a jackhammer bit. It needs to be tough. It needs to be absolutely wickedly tough. It doesn't matter if the face gets a few scratches or abrasions in it, here and there. That is not as important as it not throwing a chip through your thigh, or into your face, or into your buddy's face across the room. So you do not want to harden hammers to their fullest capability. When I do 1095, I water quench because it is a water quenching steel, as is all 10 series steels. I water quench 1095, but, and I will on this hammer especially, but I draw it back to a purple in color. So that's way further than I draw most of my hammer faces down. Now, so say I use 1045, which is what's considered a medium carbon content steel. I take that up to a straw color or bronze, no deeper than a bronze temper on 1045. Again, in that case, it's a lower carbon content, and so therefore it can use to have a little harder surface area on it. But it never truly gets hard. We're talking 52 Rockwell tops, okay? 52 to 55 Rockwell. And so that 52 to 55 Rockwell, according to the manufacturer's handbook that I have in the house, it is a tough steel. It's meant to take abuse or impact. So that's at its hardest is 55, and so I back draw that for around 50 to 52 Rockwell, somewhere in there. Again, I am not a metallurgist, nor do I care to be. I am a blacksmith. And so I've done what works. But you want your hammer to be tough. It does not need to be hard. So For anybody who's making hammers out there, or any implement of tool that's being struck repeatedly, it needs to be a tough tool, not a hard tool.
Shadowcaster has a bit of encouragement and gave us a $10 super chat.
Thank you, Shadowcaster, sir. God bless you
He
for the
said,
$10 super chat.
He said, to those who are still looking for those elusive blacksmith tools, keep looking. They will come. It took 5 years, but I finally found my 6-inch post vise and a 15 by 15 by 4 Sledge block in excellent condition.
Awesome, Shadowcaster.
That's a huge Sledge block.
And that is a great piece of advice. You just have to be patient. Well, you don't have to be patient. You just have to have a lot of money. A lot of money bypasses patience.
Yeah.
Patience, you wait for a deal, and you get a deal. And then you're happy that you got a deal. And then there's all sorts of comments like that, where you find that perfect sledge block, or that perfect, vise, or that perfect anvil, or perfect power hammer for you, that you've wanted for so many years. It's a great piece of advice, Shadowcaster. Make sure everybody gives him a hand clap for that super chat. Thank you for supporting this live stream and supporting the channel. What else we got, honey?
Yep. BG Cannon says 9310 is forged at 1191 degrees Celsius or 2,175 degrees Fahrenheit down to about 920 degrees Celsius. It has good ductility, tempered or hardened.
Okay, well, it sounds like it'll make a dandy hammer then. You will have to work it from that estimation very hot, though. You'll want to make sure you keep it working very hot when you're working it. So I don't know if anybody's seen my controversial harden and tempering video there. My stop overthinking heat treat video. That was released today.
I'm sure a few of these 58 people have seen it.
I'm sure a few people have. So I want to get some things cleared up because there's always a bit of nuance whenever you do a video like that. Out of its nuances, and basically in blacksmithing right now you have two extreme groups that control the minds of the simple or the minds of the masses, if you will. You have at one end that have their noses so buried deep into a technical data book that they couldn't forge to save their life, and they couldn't make a proper tool to save their life because they don't have $45,000 worth of equipment to do so. Then you have the other people on the far end of the spectrum that says, let's throw caution all to the wind. Nobody cares about any of this heat treat garbage. Sure, you can take a railroad spike up to 65 Rockwell. No problem. And so you've got people on that end of the spectrum. Unfortunately, although they're two big wheels that squeak the loudest, no one should be giving them any grease, and they should be replaced by common sense, right down the center. So in my heat treating practices, and this is not a dig at anybody who ever does a heat treat video, or does a forging video, or does anything about hardening and tempering. In my heat treat practices, they come from trial and error in my experiences, personal experiences, right, wrong, or indifferent. Now, with that being said, you talk to one smith, you may get 4 or 5 or 6 different heat treating methods, depending on the tooling that you are asking that smith about. And I guarantee you, you will get that same thing no matter who you ask. Does not matter. Does not matter. Basically, the point is, there is no hard, fast rule when it comes to hardening and tempering or heat treating in general as the whole process is concerned. There are no hard and fast rules. There are groundwork. As I said, critical temperature is not a bar. It is a graph. It is a curve, okay? There are certain things that happen at those temperatures for different steels based upon their alloys, their carbon content, their grain growth, their grain structure, yada, 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 yada. And unless you have a $75,000 Spectron microscope, you are about as blowing as hard into the wind as anybody else is. Because you can't know for 100% or 1,000% sure. Even factories have tolerances. Go to a steel department that sells modern steel, and they give tolerances, deflection tolerances, they give length tolerances. I know because I've just got done ordering a heat load of high carbon steel. They give all sorts of tolerances, hardenability tolerances. They give all sorts of ranges and tolerances that that material will be able to come out at. Because if you have something that is, say, a 40-foot long length of bar, you can get it pretty close with modern manufacturing, but there's still a chance of error or tolerance. They may say that it's been all annealed to one state, but maybe it's sat on a rack, a cooling rack, and there just happened to be a cold spot. And that one portion of that bar has been hardened or somehow has changed in grain structure. So they always leave that open little bit of negligibility. So with that being said, if you are new, stop overthinking the heat treating thing. You need to take and practice with your tooling. You need to do test samples of the stuff before you put it into action, into use, and you need to prove. And you need to get with another smith who knows what they're doing if you're really fresh out the box. And you need to let that smith come alongside you and help guide you in the heat treating. As soon as you get on YouTube, you're going to see 5,000 different ways of heat treating essentially the same steel. And basically you'll have somebody who says, oh, well, that's no good. You know, it has to be this specific temperature range. And you'll go talk to somebody else, you'll meet them at a conference, and they're going to say, no, that guy's a crackpot. It needs to be this temperature range. And then you look at the steel department that's selling you the steel, and they're like, no, both those two are yahoos. Why do you listen to them for? It needs to be this temperature range. And then you go to some scientist guy, and he's going to take and say, no, you got that all wrong. It needs to be this thing. Because last time I checked, we lived in an imperfect world with an imperfect atmosphere, with imperfect conditions, with an imperfect heat source, with an imperfect hammering style, with an imperfect and infinite amount of possibilities. So with that being said, the door is wide open out there. You cannot shortcut experience, and you cannot shortcut experimentation in heat treating of tool steels just by saying, well, the book told me to do it that way. Because sometimes the guy who wrote the book knows actually less about it than you do. Just because you write a book, if I write a book, I'm an expert instantly. Because I can call myself an expert. And I could bring the 4 pages of accolades in my smithing career to it and yada, 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 and puff my tail feathers up as big as you like, okay? And I can take and talk about my years and time in the craft, and there's going to be some guy, some old dude out there, some old codger that's going to whip out his trump card. It's called, I've been at it 35 years, and you're wrong, whippersnapper. See? So, with that being said, there's no shortcut. There's no shortcut to the hardening and tempering process. Those guidelines, the books, everything like that, they're meant to get you really close and to get you some accurate information about why maybe something didn't turn out as well as it should have. So if something breaks on you, but you've done it like this forever, it gives you a way of diagnosing what went wrong and why. And you can do things like examine the grain structure and the martensite formation and all these other things. So do not get too caught up on heat treat and let it stop you from making a simple slit chisel for yourself, because you're so worried that you're not going to be able to make this slit chisel as good as somebody in some big factory that's doing them by the thousands in a big heat treat oven. Chances are you're going to be able to make it just fine for your own purposes. So a little bit of that was, a little bit of this comes from, I have gotten everything from oversimplification of the heat treating process to, and it's not going to end there. I'm sure I'll get plenty of additional feedback from people and folks. But since you're in the live stream, you get to listen to my rant while I bring this up to welding heat.
Yeah, actually we should take a little super chat break for a moment.
Yeah, is there a bunch of people?
Yeah, we've had a few.
I am so sorry, you all.
Somebody asked, is this a Roy rant or what?
This is definitely a Roy rant. It's a Roy rant because I think this is something that smiths have got to learn to take and get over. You have to get over yourself. If you like to do something, if it works for knives, doesn't mean it'll work for hammers, and that doesn't mean that'll be the same thing that'll work for chisels or race car shafts, drive shafts. They're all different. Every manufacturer has a different heat treat method and properties they're looking for. So don't get too tied up on it. Without that, now let's go to Super Chat.
All right. Carol Williamson says, love the PayPal link, $20 sent. Love you guys.
Carol, thank you so much. God bless you. Everybody give Carol a hand clap if you haven't already. I'm sure you have. I am horrible tonight. Sorry.
Peter Tricker sent us £5 and said, towards your tech support.
Yeah, towards Jessica. Well, thank you, Peter Tricker. We appreciate you.
KJ Owens sent us a $9.99 super chat and
Thank you, KJ Owens.
said, sorry I was late.
That's all right.
Still here in plenty
You
of time.
can pay for your spot and be late. We appreciate that. Everybody give all these people a good hand clap. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel and me sweating here in 150 degrees. Speaking of that, we'll walk off camera. I can still hear you. I'm just getting some more water.
All right. Jason Satterwhite says, I'd buy your book, Roy.
Woo! Buy my book. That's a book with a whole lot of unintelligence things happening in it.
County Line Fortress, Roy ranting again.
I'm always ranting, James. Always ranting.
Riv last name says, are you familiar with the Kane and Sons Blacksmithing Depot?
Yes, I am. I've bought several things from them. Mostly rivets. A couple thousand rivets at a time. They're really handy. They're not, they're not economically priced, but they're fair. They're fair on pricing. So they're not taking you to the bank for simple tools and stuff. And at the same point, they're not cheap either. So you can expect to get some reasonable quality from them. And we are hot.
All right.
There.
Okay.
So go ahead. You can keep reading if you want.
Sure. County Line Forge, I got to say I'm actually enjoying grinding this sword. Haha.
Woohoo! Good for you, buddy. More power to you. I don't want to grind no swords.
Heavy Hammer Forge says, I work for Apple.
You work for what?
Apple.
He works for Apple, huh?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, there you go. I don't know what that means, but
As far as tech stuff.
I miss it. Oh, for tech. Okay. Well, unfortunately, don't throw us, don't stone us, but we don't have any Apple products in our house. Mainly because we can't afford them. We're Android users.
Paul Ellis says, I bought Jessica's book. I would buy yours.
Awesome, Paul. That's a compliment. It's really hard to follow up someone like Jessica. All right, let's go to the anvil, Jess. We got this at another full welding heat.
Okay.
All right. That's fully welded in. Good to go. Now while this is fully welded, I'm going to attempt, it probably won't work well, but we'll see. I'm going to attempt to trim this off. Trim off my excesses. Although it probably will not work well, we'll see how well I can try. Yeah, so I gotta trim that nicely by myself, but
Do you want me to hold it?
I'm getting it.
Getting it.
Whee!
Pastor Josh Smith's overall forging. Sorry we're late, but Becky and I are finally watching. Yeah, I noticed you changed your screen name too.
Hey, Pastor Josh Smith and Becky. Everybody say hello. There we go. We got that top trimmed off. Everybody can see that?
Yep.
Good.
Other side, same thing.
Other side, same thing.
Riv last name says, do you think it would be worth buying a 1.5 pound rounding hammer there for $44 from the Blacksmith Depot?
Oh, sure. You like rounding hammers? Yes. So what I'm doing here is basically I'm using the hammer billet itself to shear off the material. I don't know if you guys can see that at all.
Yeah, it's showing. There it
There we go.
goes. Jason Satterwhite says that's gonna be a sweet hammer. Somebody asked earlier too what the overall or the end weight's gonna be.
The end weight should be right around 8 pounds. Now, with that being said, I weighed it earlier. With the hammer faces currently, it weighs 10 pounds, 4 ounces currently. If you notice, when we started this whole thing with 12 pounds even. So that's how much we've lost to this point.
Good day to you too. Paul's from Paul's Garage.
Hello, hello.
Coffee's Forge says, laying in bed trying not to fall asleep. These new pills make me sleepy.
Hey brother, if you gotta rest, you gotta rest. Don't let us stop you. Alright.
County Lane Forge.
All those cut off. Good to go.
He said, phew, that's a lot bigger than 8 ounces. Haha.
Lot bigger.
It's like the weight of one of the faces, maybe. Was 8 ounces.
Now, if anybody notices here, by cutting that off, I've helped to introduce a little bit of stress, and I'm pulling a little bit of a weld. Do you see right here? I need to take one more welding heat and get this corner knocked in. But basically, this hammer is shaping up nicely. See the cheeks? So I'm going to take one more welding heat on that corner and get that welded in just a fuzz more.
Gotcha. Spencer Coots asks where you get your wrought iron.
Spencer, I got this at Quad State one year from a guy by the name of Keith Summers.
Corey Shire says, my firstborn son weighed in at 10 pounds, 4 ounces at birth.
I'm forging a baby!
Penny Brown said, oh man, fell asleep. It's been a long day. Better go to bed now. Catch you on the next one.
Hey, Penny Brown, thank you for staying around for as long as you did. Have a good night's sleep there. Yay, yay, yay! Have you ever noticed nothing seems to work out right when you come back from vacation?
Yeah. James said, Blacksmithing Depot is just over an hour from me. It's a really awesome place. Hung out with the old man one day at the depot. He is 86 and swings a 5-pound hammer.
Woo!
Let's see.
Probably not for very long.
And then he also said that he asked what James swung. He said a 3-pounder. And they laughed at him.
Yeah? Well, what that old guy's not showing you is he was showing off to be impressive. When you left, he uses every power, hammer, and press known to mankind to do his work for him. Don't let them old guys take and fool you. They like to be revered as tough, too, every now and then, right?
Hammer Time New York, I think I found your Facebook. If so, I'm the lobster that follows.
Okay, lobster that follows.
Yeah, I still need to go check it out. Our Facebook is Chrysler and Ironworks. We're only on there a couple of times a month.
Yep.
We are on Instagram a lot more.
I am not
Chrysler
huge
and Ironworks.
on Facebook. It is not my favorite platform for a whole lot of reasons. Too much drama. YouTube has that habit sometimes, but at least in YouTube you can block people to avoid drama. I should say they make it a one-step process. You click on their little icon and you hit block. It's pretty simple.
North Country Forge says, I'm actually working on stock, trying to get ready for Woodsman's. Bunch of stuff to make.
Awesome.
County Line Forge, well, as being I'm a hammer maker, I'm going to suggest you buy one of mine, but I'm a little bit partial, haha. The person asked about buying a hammer from Blacksmith Depot. With. Paul's Garage, my dad sometimes says people don't get tougher as they age, they get better at messing with young people.
Exactly. I have seen all sorts of things out there. Oh, this guy swings 9 pounds, or he's this, or he's that. And I said, where's his power hammer, or how long does he work per day? Because I guarantee you, if you want to see somebody who works with a hammer all day, go to a farrier. They're not swinging 9 pounds of hammer. They're not. For general shaping and forging and tuning and turning shoes and things like that. Old farriers, or I used to be a farrier turned forger or something, they do 9, 10, 12 pound hammers, makes a good show of it. But I'll take my 1 3/4 pound and I will lay down the law with you any day. And I will still be swinging in the middle of the night while you have done went to bed and iced your arm. Guaranteed. I will be at Quad State this year if anybody wants to take me up on that.
Heavy Hammer Forge, yes, that is borax in the top right corner of the camera. It's just the back side of the box, the way it's turned. AH, is Ohio as hot as Kansas has been? It's been in the 90s, just starting to these last couple of days. I'm not sure how hot Kansas has been, but it's our temperatures here. Steve Carlson, the green tape is so Roy can locate his tools when he goes to do demonstrations or take classes.
Yep. Don't worry, you're not the first person to ask that question, won't be the last. I've been asked that question ever since I started on YouTube.
Haji Forge Works Robert, welcome.
Hello, hello.
Coffee's Forge, yes, it's hot and miserable. This is just the beginning of summer. What are you talking about? Got a good 2 solid months more of this, right?
Yep.
David Burson, what's Quad State? Where is it? And do I need tickets?
You have to pay a registration fee. I believe the registration fee is $65 for the whole entire weekend, which is a 2-day event. There's people who show up a lot earlier than that for tailgate sales and things like that, although it's highly discouraged. They do it anyhow. And then it is at the Miami County Fairgrounds in Troy, Ohio. It is a great event. It's very worth the $65 that it takes to be there. And then camping on grounds is additional to that $65. But like I said, it's very worth it.
County Line Forge says, and Pops is officially coming to Sofa.
Aha!
Good to hear.
Good.
Yeah, if anybody's not aware of our calendar, if you go to blacksmithpdfs.com, we've updated our landing page, and there's a calendar And if you click on that, it shows us the upcoming events where we'll be at. So if you want to come hang out, make sure you check that out to see where we'll be.
Yep. One that will be coming up very soon is the Rant conference. I will be the one and only demonstrator at their conference. They're in northeastern Ohio, up around the Cleveland area, I believe.
Yep.
The Cleveland area.
Yep.
Burton Century Village. You can look it up on their website.
Yep.
And I think, again, go to our website. It'll have a full page spread ad about what we're doing on the book. Just go over at ChristCenteredIronworks.com or ChristCentered, or go to blacksmithpdfs.com, and you can find all about it there as well. Just click on the tab and go to demonstrations or events calendar. Go to the calendar page. Look, saying it wrong. Confusing it with Sofa's website.
Hoagie Forge Works. Okay, that's how it's pronounced. Good to know. Billy Strong, $9.99 super chat said, just for Roy's rant about quenching and hardening.
Well, thank you, sir.
You're encouraging him.
I'm incorrigible.
You never know what Roy Rant will be next.
Well, I get in trouble for that, so I have to defend myself from time to time. And basically what I really want everybody to take away from that is this one thing. It's really this one thing. Everything that I tell you is from my experience point. It's from what I have experienced. It's my view on things. You don't have to agree with that view. You're more than welcome to find other channels that agree with you 1000%. That's okay. I'm a 30-year-old man. I'm comfortable in my skin. I'm not a boy. I ain't no Boy Scout. I've been around the block a couple times. Couldn't care less if it satisfies you. That's just my opinion of things. Now, with that being said, I am so open to being wrong with that type of viewpoint. And I'm more than happy with some days I'll turn back around. Today, here's a good one. This is 100%. I'll do this after this is done burning. I pull it out here in the forge. Well, here, I'll just slow down on it. Now, dry it up a bit. So, today I was proven exactly wrong. I wanted to take and order steel online from a local steel supplier. I won't say who, but I wanted to order a lot of high carbon tool steel online, and we're talking in the sum of well over $400 worth of tool steel, or at least that's what it was. I was prepared to pay nearly $1,000. It was $890 some odd dollars before everything was going to be complete and said and done. I told Jess, I don't care, just get it done. I've got 8 months of work that I need to get jobs heading out the door. She said, hun, we should call in and you should just go pick it up in store. I was just going to pay the price to have them ship it to me. It was going to be $146 for them to just ship it to me. They're about 20 minutes away in Dayton. Not to give too much away. So I said, fine, just call them then, right? Because I thought I was going to be proven right. We had a little quarrel. She calls them. The guy in their steel department says, oh no, don't ever order online. Order straight from us in our department. Okay. Gives us a price. It was literally half of what I was going to pay. They doubled the prices for the product just because it was online. So Jessica saved us well over $400 in money by her just calling. I was wrong 100% of the way. So if you feel dreadfully so online on anything that I go out and I profess, I preach, I teach, or anything like that, and you think I'm 1000% wrong, you have to do like Jessica does. Proof is in the pudding. If my hammer style is wrong, I want to see yours. When I'm hammering wrong, I want to see you go for 12 hours straight without a break at 150 degrees. If you can't, well, then it proves something there, doesn't it? If you've got something on heat treating and I'm dead wrong, please send me the data, send me the proof, put this arrogant person in his place, and I will be happily so, and I will retract or I don't retract statements, but I will make a new statement of where Roy messed up and how you shouldn't listen to that other video because I'm an idiot, okay? So I am more than happy to take and do that. Unfortunately, people who get in the comment sections, they throw truisms based upon what they were taught by whoever they were taught by. Whether that was a guy with 1 year of experience, whether that was a guy that has ever forged wrought iron, whether that was a guy who ever worked with that particular steel or metal or not, and they were taught one way of doing something, they voice that opinion about that, and then they make your opinion irrelevant because of what they know. And so with that, I will always back up what I say with experience, and but I greatly appreciate being countered in a constructive and positive way. If somebody can do that in the comment section.
Well, good job, Roy. Sing her praises.
Yep. She's a wonderful woman. She keeps me out of hot water. Major brownie points from her today.
Didn't think you were going to say that story on there.
Oh, I'm going to. I'm going to sing your praises from the tops of the heavens, girl.
Manga 12 says, and hopefully the loose shirt is cooler, and $400 is a lot for a small business. Your wife did her due diligence.
Oh, yeah, she did. She kept me out of heat, blood, and hot water. Again, me, bullheaded, just thinking about getting the work done, getting the jobs out. I didn't care about price. She was smart. She was smart. She saved a lot of money. Now I can buy double the amounts of steel that I was going to get for the same price, which I would have been mighty hot under the collar, and I guarantee you somebody I would have rang their bell down at this company if I found out that I had double paid for steel simply because I bought online for convenience. So somebody's head would have rolled for that one.
It should be the other way around. Purchasing online should be saving them from not having so many employees to double handle the orders and stuff. But
yeah, well,
anyway, that's a whole other thing.
That's a whole other topic and rant for another day. So, all right, so I'm going to re-weld this piece back in. We've got this up good and definitely hot enough now. I'm done ranting. Jessica, let's go to the anvil cam, would you?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay. Right. Give this a good brush. Be good and welding on. And I think it's good. I think we are good. I think we are good, Jess.
All right, good.
All right. Good to go. Now, with that being said, let's bring this out at a higher heat now. Next time, and try to get this welded on, get this face welded on. We'll see where we're at. You have to bring this out at a low welding heat. Bring it up to the right temperature here. And then hammer that straight down like so. There, we can see that?
Yep.
So before I do that, I'm going to set this off to the side now. Back here in the back of the firebox. This way it still gets some flame drawn across and it can retain some of the heat. And now I'm going to take the steel face, I'm going to set that in the fire and bring this up to a nice cherry red heat. And then I'm going to flux just this joint. Now, wrought iron self-fluxes itself. Easy now. Easy. Alright. Wrought iron will self-flux itself. So it will flux itself. That's great. Unfortunately though, high carbon tool steel is not self-fluxing. So, with that being said, you need to add, although not imperative, it helps with the welding if you add some flux to the high carbon steel face before you hammer it together. It helps ensure that you do flux that welded joint and that you get a good solid weld started. So it's highly encouraged that you put some flux on the high carbon steel faces. It is not necessary. It's not necessarily a necessity, but it does tend to help. I'm a creature of habit. This is how I've done all my hammers, and all the faces tend to weld on fine, and I haven't had a problem yet. So I stick with the method that I know when it comes to this. Any questions?
All right. Manga 12, I did not think you would be on the live stream today, Roy. It's very hot outside, and there's no air movement in Indiana right now.
There's no air what?
Air movement in Indiana.
Yeah, so basically I'm a glutton for punishment. It's very hot in the shop. Very, very hot. But glad to be here for your enjoyment. Viewing pleasure, sir.
Frank Strock said, in my experience, I listen to everything, think it over, and take it with a grain of salt.
That is a wonderful, wonderful way and attitude to take that, Frank Strock. You know, because, well, it's like the old adage says, you know, you're given 2 of these and 1 of these for a reason. And when you employ both of these, you learn something. When you only employ this, you learn nothing. So I listen to everything. I think it over. I see if that seems factual or logical to me. There's something I'm unclear of, I will ask the question, whether how stupid it may sound. I will ask the person the question. And if they fail to give me an intelligent response, I usually discount what it is that they were telling me. So if somebody can give you an intelligent response and say, hey, legitimately, no, you should do it this way because of X, Y, Z factors, here's why, here's where you can resource this information, yada, 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 well, guess what? Then they may know something about this, I'll investigate further. A lot of people like to, again, point out like truisms. They'll just say, oh, well, you should never harden anything, any tool steel in water. That's a complete farce. That is a complete farce. Completely a farce. There is a lot, and I mean a ton of tool steels that harden in water, irrespective of carbon content. There is a ton of tool steels that harden in oil. There's a ton of tool steels that harden in air. There's some that harden in both oil and air, like S7. So, you know, there are no definitives that are just cut and dry, it's this way. And so if you can listen, again, if you can listen to somebody, hear them out from their viewpoint, see where they're coming from, they might be full of beans, and then again, they might tell you something that you didn't know. You never know. What's up, honey?
Yeah, Manga 12 said it's a guy thing where we just drive on and get the job done. Spencer Dixon said that was the best history of all rants. And Graham said $400 shoes for Jessica, LOL.
Luckily, she doesn't have expensive taste.
No, I don't.
That's luckily for me.
Yeah.
Not for her, but luckily for me. What else, hon?
Frank Strock, as far as stupid questions, there is no dumb question, only the question that does not get asked.
Yep. Cannot be afraid to ask questions. You know, so much, and I'll say this about the difference between women and men. I've taught both. Women tend to take instruction a lot better than men do. And the reason why is there's this little thing called testosterone and pride. The testosterone feeds the pride, which then feeds the ego, and then people get egotistical about one another. You start comparing things. We start comparing things. Oh yeah, you think your day was hot? I spent all day in a 200-degree shop. Oh yeah, well mine was 225. How about that, right? And women don't possess that ability. You know, like, oh yeah, Why spin it in a 3,000 degree shop?
The baby I birthed was a 14-pound baby.
Yeah, no woman compares, some small degree they do, maybe, on childbirth, about how many hours they were in labor, but a lot less, and they're a lot less likely to just hit you right out the gate. What I have found since being on YouTube, there's a ton of people who have been a hobbyist for 20 years, and nothing wrong with being a hobbyist, but will speak from the aspect as I do not know what I'm talking about as a professional blacksmith. Again, that's an interesting thing. I have been a professional blacksmith for the last 6 years of my life. There's a big difference there. I have been blacksmithing in total for 10, and that's only going to go up. I'm not going away, fellas, unless the Lord strike me down dead. But I have found that a lot of our pride as men get in the way of our learning. Because the second somebody comes in on my comment stream or comment thread and they would say, "You don't know a dang thing about what you're talking about," instantly I'm like, "Oh yeah?" But it takes you a second to reel that back in and say, okay, well, let's at least hear them out and see what they're saying, you know, before you get all up in a bunch about it. And so that is kind of interesting, I think. And if anybody teaches out there, you can probably attest to the same thing, finding the same thing. Women tend to learn very quickly because they don't have the pride. They don't have so much of that pride aspect going for them of, you know, "Oh yeah, look at me. I forged for 18 hours a day without a drink of water. Now I'm going to go inside and die of heat stroke," right? Like, no. There's nothing more womanly or manly about heat stroke. You know, they're saying, "To heck with that. I'm going to wait till the day gets cool." And then they're busy out doing their forge work when it's cold, while you were busy being all macho in the shop when it was too hot to humanly work. So that is something that I found. I don't know if anybody else out there has found that when it comes to adult learning disabilities, adult male learning disabilities.
Is that what you're going to call it?
That's what I'm
like
going to
a
call
whole
it.
syndrome.
It's a whole syndrome. It's toxic.
Pastor Josh Smith says, "Hey Roy and Jess, is it alright with you if I toss out a link to the page that we just created for our church? We're putting up sermons and Bible studies."
I don't know if they could share a link in the stream thread, but you can try.
Yeah, you can try.
I am okay with that. That would be Jessica's department. I don't know if it'll allow you.
Yeah, I'm not for sure.
Let's go to the ample, Jess, real quick while you're doing that.
Already there?
Okay? So now, we're just going to put just a wee bit of flux on here. We're not trying to do a bunch. We just need to get the surface a little wet with flux. And this is all that it takes. We'll go a little bit over here because it just kind of rolled off. A little on that corner. So on and so forth. And now that should wick the scale off when it goes to, when I go to hammering on it. So now I'll set this to the side and let this cool. While I bring my hammer billet back up to heat. I want to bring my hammer billet back up to heat now. Find which side I need to make, because I made them to a certain size. I think that side is the side I'm wanting. Yes. So now I'm going to bring this, and we'll put this face down and bring it up to a nice lemon yellow color. The face of the hammer. This way we can get those barbs, stuck on. Good go?
Yep. Togi Forge Works says, "About that, LOL, can you set up wrought iron without blowing the grain apart?"
Yes, you can. When it's fine grained and you work it at a really high temperature. You have to work it at a near welding temperature. A lot of just the general forging on wrought iron likes to be as hot as what welding temperature would be on mild steel. So the grain structure has a tendency to split or delaminate on you when you work it too cold in wrought iron. The finer the grain structure, the less prone it is to do that. So things like if you can ever be fortunate enough to find wrought iron sheet, most of the time wrought iron sheet is a very fine grain wrought iron. That's why they were able to extrude spread it out into a plate, a piece of plating or sheet material. Usually it's a very high grade of wrought iron that they would do that with. If you have the fortunates to get something from a bridge or something that was a structural member of a building or something like that, that is in wrought iron, that is the best way to get wrought iron, because you can almost guarantee at that point that that wrought iron is of high quality because of the purpose that it's used for. Something like ornamental stuff, railings, gates, things like that, not so much. Usually those are of a lower quality wrought iron.
Said he has a 200-year-old anchor chain.
That would be higher quality wrought iron in general. Now sometimes that suffered from the sea or the ocean if it was in a saltwater environment, and so you'll lose a lot of mass to the fact that it's been eaten away over the years being in the ocean. So you'll lose a lot of mass when you forge on it. It'll look like it really reduces down before it finally gets kind of solid on you and you actually consolidate it down. But still really great. Again, trying to hold ships in place. So worth the investment to make it decent.
Bodie says, hey guys, it's been a while. Sorry about that.
Hey Bodie, good to have you here, brother. Don't worry about the times, as long as you're here now.
Spencer Coote says, my goal in life is to find pure 100% no carbon iron.
A great place to do that is over in Europe. The UK has a place called Pure Iron, and that's where you can find it. Very expensive to import. One of these days I might make enough and start importing it, but who knows?
Herb Page, glad you made it.
Herb Page, hello, hello. Good to have you in the house, sir.
Day Spring Metalworks, yep, a lot of people suffer from AMLD.
What's that?
A lot of people suffer from AMLD, the adult male learning disability.
Yeah.
North Country Forge, I just found a carriage axle, can't wait to work that.
Heck yeah. That'll probably be some good stuff.
Bodie says, I feel like all I do is work now. It sucks. What kind of job do you have?
Yeah. That is the diary of life, my friend.
Mike G, what's the countdown till the baby's due?
Tell the baby, I think it'll be birthed right on time in about another 25 minutes.
He probably shouldn't
At
be
least
sitting.
one face. I'm welding the baby's face on right now. You're about to hear it say wham. Once I get it together, I gotta put the face on the head and then I gotta weld the face in. So we'll see how that goes.
Rock the Hitman says, Roy, if you had to pick between a traditional twin chamber bellow or a Japanese piston bellows, which one would it be?
I kind of like the compactness of the Japanese. I've never used them, so couldn't really tell you on that. One thing I dislike about the Japanese style is it's got a rod, it's got a push rod on it, and I feel like I would have a tendency to snap that. Just knowing who I am and vigorously working the bellows. I think it works great if you're doing something that's a lower down forge, like a ground forge, or something like a traditional Japanese forge type deal where it's set up. Maybe you're in more of a crouched position or you're sitting in a pit. I think it would work nicely. The benefit of having something like a little double bellows action is, for the most part, that's on a lever. So you can be up here pulling on a lever, and I would find that would be a little handier in my own thought process. But I could be 1,000% wrong on that. Never used either, so.
Mike G says, it's less than 3 weeks till their baby girl comes. That's what I thought. I thought you said middle of July.
Awesome, Mike G. Congratulations.
Hammer Time New York, welding baby face. I might have come back at an interesting time.
You certainly did. We're welding up some baby faces. So basically we're just trying to get this up to a high lemon yellow heat down on the surface. So this way when we tap it together, it'll stick. The hammer face, the prongs that I've cut into it, the barbs will bite into the wrought iron. We need them to bite in, so this way they'll hold the face on for us. Now I'm hoping to do this today and get at least one face welded on. I don't know how long we've been going for, or what time we're at.
We're at hour 40.
Hour and 40 minutes. So by the time I get one face welded on, that'll probably be it for this live stream. And we'll have to do the other face in another live stream. Or I may do that sometime during the week if I get the time, and then go ahead and do the shaping and the punching and drifting of the hole in the following live stream. We'll see how that goes. Once you've seen one face, basically the other face does exactly the same thing. The same exact weld. Alright, so let's go to the anvil, Jess.
Alright.
We've got it up good and hot. Hopefully this is in shot. You look like you moved my camera just a fuzz on me.
I zoomed it in a little.
There you go. It looks a little more square now.
Yep.
So now we're going to go ahead and pull this out. Pull this wrought iron hammer head out. It's a nice lemon yellow. And we're going to line this up. Get this mostly lined up. The better job we do of alignment now, the better off we're going to be. Alright, so it stayed on. Oh, barely.
Yeah, the two teeth didn't look like they dug in.
Nope. Ooh, they're barely on there. Alright, this is going to be a genteel operation. We're going to try to get this welded on regardless. Let's see how we do with it.
Kevin McIntyre asked, did I miss welding the cheeks or did you do that off the stream?
I welded up all the cheeks, so you've already missed that.
Yep.
We did that on screen.
Hammer Time New York, any sneak peeks into future projects?
Any sneak peeks into future projects? No sneak peeks as of yet. So, I have been absolutely flooded with work. As I said earlier in the stream, I'm sold out 8 months, solid 40-hour weeks for the next 8 months. So with that being said, there are no current larger projects, sneak peek projects to take and be doing. I upgraded my hammer dies or my power hammer to a much larger hammer die setup. I will be showing that in some upcoming videos here in the future. Let's see here. Video projects that may come along. I have a 30-pound sledgehammer that I'll be forging. I hope to do some video of that. I don't usually show a lot of video of my customers' jobs. This one's oddball enough that it might make an interesting video, so I decided I might do that. Well, all my customer jobs are oddball, so there's a few that I may do some videos on here coming up soon of my customers' work. But interesting, that should be said. So somebody had mentioned in the comment, in one comment, it was a commenter sometime, basically was talking and kind of giving me the advice that, when they first started watching, they didn't have, that I was mostly a forging channel. and now I seem to be more about business than I am forging, and that I've ran out of ideals. So I want to speak to that notion for a second. I am a full-time blacksmith first and foremost, and I am a YouTuber for about 20 hours a week. 20 to about 30 hours a week right now. So with that being said, whoever dangles the bigger carrot, which are my customers and my art, I'm going to service that community first. So what that means is I have made my videos in such a way that they are manageable for my shop. We talk about things on this channel that are more than just, hey, this is how you make a leaf that you've seen for the 57th time, right? Everybody has a leaf video. Everybody has a hammer making video. Everybody has an anvil video. Everybody has a knife video. Everybody has a Damascus video. Everybody has a forge build video. Everybody has a power hammer build video, for the most part, right? So what my channel offers that is unique is I give you an introspective look at my life as a professional blacksmith, and I use that to encourage you to go out in your shop and to make a little income and a little bit of side cash for yourself and your family, and to be able to succeed in the realm of blacksmithing. And that is my special angle that I bring to YouTube. Now, what does that mean? I am not going to slave away at 8 hours a day, every day, for 7 days a week, for the rest of my life, to come up with forging-only videos. There are plenty of other great channels that you can go and watch forging-only videos, and they do not post twice a day. So if you enjoy the content, happy to have you as part of the channel, but you will unfortunately get what I have time to create. And it's at a high cost on my time and my business to take and produce content that is somewhat intelligent enough that it may actually help somebody. So as long as you keep that in mind, that's my little rant about that. Hopefully everybody likes that. That wasn't directed at any one person on the stream, by the way, or anything like that. It was a subject matter that was, what's eating Roy? Well, that's what was eating Roy today.
Now you know.
Now you know.
For the Honor Forge, Roy has a knife video? Smiley face.
Yeah, not yet.
Paul's Garage, wait, everybody has a knife video? You too?
Yeah, it's called Never Happening. That's my knife video. Actually, I do. It's called Why I Don't Forge Knives.
Yeah.
It's done in my styling. Man, I took a lot of flack on that video.
Yeah.
Just like my sharp anvil edges. Took a lot of flack on that one. Or hammer technique. Took a lot of flack on that one.
Small Towns Church says, Pastor Josh Smith here. I don't have a leaf, anvil, or hammer video. I must be slacking.
You were really slacking, brother. Get on it. You need to do that in order so somebody can tell you that it's not good enough for their liking, and that you should make 10 more videos on something else entirely.
He says it's the night of the rants.
The night of the rants. So you guys have been storing them up for a while, isn't it? Here.
Yep, that must be it.
Well, not you, just general YouTube commenters.
For the Honor Forge says, Roy, I really do appreciate your content and facilitating the community.
I appreciate that, for the Honor Forge. Even if I am a little ranty at it. Yeah, we may have to try this again sometime here. I don't know. Let me see if I can get this up. This hammer face drops off. Come on, stay together. Folks, we'll see how bad I struggle with this. Right now, I don't think there's high success chances of this welding on, but we'll see where we're at here in a second.
Herb Page says, it's your content that brings me back. It's a good range of topics.
Well, thank you, Herb Page. Everybody's got to do something unique, you know. There's a ton of channels out there. People ask, well, why ain't you done Damascus? Why ain't you done Damascus? Damascus doesn't interest me. Wrought iron hammers, they interest me. Why don't you do this? Chasing work interests me. Lock work, I want to do a lot of locks. I've got that planned out for later this fall. A bunch of lock work videos and doing everything from padlocks to door locks and all sorts of crazy cool stuff, and teaching techniques like filing techniques and ornamental chasing and doing high relief chasing in steel, and all that kind of stuff is what excites me, and that's the stuff that I want to share, because there's plenty of guys that can show their stuff about doing Damascus or doing a knife or doing whatever it is that they like to be doing. There's plenty of guys who are really good at that, and I'm just not one of those guys. It's not my forte. And so I am both very good and successful at business, and that is not a brag, I'm just thankful for it. And I am very successful in the way of my skill set. And so that is the interesting and the diversity that I hope to bring and convey to YouTube. I rant, I talk entirely too long. I'm not everybody's flavor of the day. Check out the merch store. I've got that t-shirt written up.
Yep.
But I'm bringing and imparting what I know from my shop, my humble little shop in New Lebanon, Ohio, and trying to teach people what I have been taught by some other smiths. And that's all we can do, is bring our own special stuff about it. So this is nowhere close to a welding heat, nor am I feeling like it's going to get there. We'll see.
Rock Mike says, awesome, Roy. Do what makes you smile, and we'll all grin along with you.
Good.
See here, Andrew Freeman had a little announcement. Let me pull it up here. He said, just had it 1 second.
All right. Come over to the anvil if you would, honey.
Okay.
I am going to try my darndest to get this to semi-stick here, just to where it's not so floppy. Right now this thing is flopping off, and that is not good. That's not what we're wanting. Oh, it should have stuck better than what it's doing right now, but it is not. So I'm going to try at this light little weld heat here to get this thing to stick down on the one edge. Are you good?
Yep, we're good.
Oh, man.
Did it come loose?
Nope, not yet, Cover. Son.
Oh.
That's what happens. Oh well.
Right in the flux bucket.
Right in the flux. She got me right in the flux. Alright, well, now you know what happens when it doesn't quite work out.
Try number 2 or resume here next week.
We might resume next week when I can get this a little better set up here. I gotta recut these teeth, make these teeth stand up a little more proud. But right now, set this up. Give this a little bit more platform and purchase for that to weld into. Alright, well there we go. That's enough for one evening. We got the cheeks welded on. That's the important part for this stream. Or so I'm going to say. Hey! There we go. Hope you all like this stream anyhow, regardless. So that's our first failed attempt. That's okay. There's not enough time this evening for me to make another attempt at it. I need to rebuild the forge with some coke. And yeah, it's be another half hour or so. Half hour, 45 minutes before I can attempt that again.
Alright, we're 5 minutes shy anyway of 2 hours.
Okay. well, let's just do a little talk. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream regardless. Sorry about not being able to get it all welded in there for you all this evening, but that is what another stream is about. Hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing the process of the cheek pieces getting welded on though. Any questions?
Manga 12 says, the only wrought iron maker I could find is the Reroll place in England, and a few that make Japanese-style swords. They build a tatara to smelting, and then it's made into swords, seems to be all.
Huh. There's a place, it's called Pure Iron. Google Pure Iron. They're not a wrought iron maker, it's a totally different thing. It's called Pure Iron. Google that.
Billy Martin says, put some duct tape on it, Roy. It will hold. LOL. That's what duct tape is. It solves all the problems.
Yeah, use a little green duct tape. What do you think?
Yeah.
Go back to me, you need camera, huh?
All right.
Ay, ay, ay. Well, a good way to start your vacation. Well, back from vacation, I should say. Got it heated up there. Alright. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the stream. All of my rants. This one was especially ranty. Maybe it's because it came back from vacation to some not so great comments, huh?
Maybe.
Maybe that's what it was. Oh.
Spencer Coots, you have not failed. You have just found a way not to make a hammer.
Yeah. So when you're using this method, so one thing I want to talk and chat about for a minute here, I got another piece in here in the fire. I'm just kind of getting it heated up just so this way I can put a little flux on it. And then I'll set it over on top of the fire. It's just the other hammer face. But one thing about doing these wrought iron hammers, if you want to do it a semi-traditional way, this is a traditional way of doing it. Now, I could have just very easily have put in the face of the wrought iron in the fire, brought it up to welding heat, and then kept it there while I put the high carbon steel bit in there separate. But then it would be a chase of taking, 9.5 or whatever pounds of steel, right, or material, and trying to manage it by myself and get it on the anvil, get it lined up, and get it welded in, okay? And at that point, you might take a higher risk of losing the welding heat before you actually get it to the anvil and get it welded on. And so therefore, using these little barbs that are pricked up as pieces to dig into that wrought iron is a very traditional method to take and do. And you'll see it in a lot of older examples of hammers. And that's mainly to help negotiate getting the piece in all in one piece so it's easier to weld. Now, with that being said, if the conditions aren't just right, in this case the face was just a little small, so the actual teeth kind of blew out the sides of the wrought iron a bit. And so since it did that, it didn't have a grip, right? It didn't bite in as strong. And so if this would have bit in really nice and strong, I would have been able to take and get the full weld heat up and been able to weld it in. But considering it didn't take a good bite and I put it back in the fire knowing this, that's why it just ended up falling off. It wasn't at a high enough temperature. I needed to restart my fire. So you guys can kind of see how this is working. I'm diagnosing exactly what has went wrong. So this way, when I'm ready to undertake this for another attempt, I'm not going to let it be at that point where I get it wrong, right? I'm going to make sure all my ducts are in a row and get that back together. So again, that's not an excuse. It's just me telling you and explaining you what went wrong and why. It's very imperative that you know in your own smithing what you're doing wrong and why. This helps you develop as a smith going forward and saying, hey, why haven't I done this right? Well, if you can't figure it out on your own, you need to go ask somebody who has experience in that level. So if you're a blade maker and you're always getting some sort of weird warp or something in your blades, you need to go study under a master smith that's a blade maker and, again, pick their brain for their knowledge, pay them for their knowledge and their time, develop a friendship or an apprenticeship under them or this or that. And that will help you then be able to understand where you went wrong, how to correct it, and catch yourself the next time you see yourself doing it. Very, very imperative to take and have that to develop as a smith. So one of the things on YouTube that's always a classical thing is editing. Editing's a beautiful thing. If I screw up something in the forge, all I can do is neglect to show you that clip. But if I were to do that, then I would not make a very good teacher. Because if you can't see the teacher screw up, if you can't see the teacher make mistakes and not make things happen, then you don't understand then. This is a perfect learning point. I'm not mad at all about this. This is a perfect thing, because I guarantee you, one of you are going to try a wrought iron hammer someday with the way that I've done this, and you're going to experience the same issues, the same technical difficulties, and you'll be like, oh, what did Roy say about that? And you might even come back and reference this video. Bypass all the rants and re-reference this video.
Manga 12, better luck welding it next time with the faces.
Yep. A bad teacher will never show you his mistakes. A good teacher will. Not professing to be a good teacher, it's just something I strive to be, and I hope to be. So, let that be known to you. You know, if everything's always hunky-dory at the guy's shop that you're at, and nothing ever goes wrong, he's either way better of a smith than me, and you should hang up your hat ever watching my YouTube channel, or he's full of beans. Or she is full of beans. Dependingly. Because everybody goes, we're all in this together, we all go through the same trials and errors. Every last one of us.
Corey Shire says, while the face is still hot, can you reset those barbs so that they will be able to take a better bite next time? Looks like they didn't take hold of the wrought iron.
Right now there's not enough time for me to do that on camera. When they are hot, yes you can. You can go over to your vise, which Jessica is conveniently planted over right now. Otherwise I might attempt it. And you can cut those barbs up again and re-hammer them up to where they're sticking straight up again. Right now, unfortunately though, they're not sticking up enough. They've been bent down because they've been heated by that wrought iron. And they've been bent down. And I have to stand them back up before I can make another go. Which means I've got to bring them up to a nice bright yellow heat, like a lemon yellow, stand each one back up, then let it cool back down to a dull red, bring the wrought iron face back up to a lemon yellow, and try to re-stick it in a different orientation, and hopefully it grips. If it doesn't grip, what I'll do is I'll beat the barbs flat-ish, and just heat them up individually and forge weld them on. That way. It'll be a jump weld onto the bigger billet at that point. That is less favorable, in my opinion. Questions? Fine.
Yes, let me take a look here. Coffee's Forge, have a good one, Roy and Jessica.
Thank you, Mr. Coffee, sir. Thank you for everything. Hope you continue to get the filming better, sir. Oh.
Hammer Time New York, editing makes people think they can forge a blade in under an hour.
Yep, sure does. The world of the internet is an amazingly terrifying place sometimes. No. Real quick, before we go too much further, I want to acknowledge all of our super chats. I didn't do it earlier in the stream because high tension and all, trying to get this up to welding heat. I want to acknowledge all of our super chat supporters that have been supporting the channel for over the last month, right? Last 30 days.
Yep, that's correct.
And so we do this every live stream because I want you all to know that I appreciate you, and I appreciate your hard-earned capital supporting this smith and this shop doing these type projects and streams. One of our goals that we are slowly working towards is getting a lapel mic, so I don't have to sound like I'm shouting so much, and then a lapel mic for Jessica, so this way both of us come in loud and clear. You get less background noise, and overall a much better viewing experience. So we're hoping to do that soon. And here's the guys and gals that are supporting stuff like that, and we thank you all very much. We've got James at County Line Forge, Graham Pepper, Darren at Energy Management, Coffee's Forge, Brave Skin, What the Forge, Peter Tricker, Tech Rodmatic, North County Forge, Liam Buck, Dana Majori, the dude, right? Jason Sullivan from Shamrock Forge, Gordon Family Forge, Rishi Sund, right?
Yep.
Thank you, sir. D. Thomas, For the Honor Forge, Billy Strong, Paul Ellis, or as we know and love him, Silly Up, and Big Dog Forge, Tim over at Big Dog Forge. Thank you all so very much for being a part of the stream, and thank you all so much for all of your super chat donations over this past month. There is becoming more and more of you, and that I can't tell you is what a blessing that is, to be able to take that and think about how we're going to run the channel in the future and bring better and better streams for you all. And we hope to make our place one of the most happening places on YouTube when it comes to a Friday night stream and on Monday night business live streams. And your guys' support and gals' support work very well towards that, and we thank you all so much once again. Also, I give a couple little shout outs here. If you haven't met or seen James at County Line Forge, he has a YouTube channel. He does a live stream Thursday nights, I believe it is now, at 8 p.m. Thursday nights at 8 p.m. James at County Line Forge, he was working on a little Viking sword the last live stream. He's a cool guy, cool dude. Go check him out. Let's see here. I also believe What the Forge has a small YouTube channel as well.
I'm not sure on that.
I believe. I think, yeah, he does. I've seen his content.
Okay.
He has a small YouTube channel. I think I am. There's a lot of you out there. Again, go check out what he's doing. He's doing some kind of backyard blacksmithing stuff. Very neat. Technomatic, he has a forge channel as well. Definitely worth to check out. And let's see here, I don't know if For the Honor Forge doesn't have one, but we all know Tim at Big Dog Forge. If you haven't seen him, we are doing a wrought iron collaboration. That collaboration is between Tim at Big Dog Forge, John Switzer at Black Bear Forge, and David at Work with Nature.
And there's a link.
Yep, there's a link to that collaborative playlist,
Down in the description?
Down in the description of this video as well. I also sent James at County Line Forge some wrought iron to turn into something to eventually sell or auction off for his dad to help with things, I believe, cancer treatments, if I'm correct about that. So definitely check them out and see what happens there. But that's it. That's enough for my little shout outs there.
Yeah, we got one more here. North Country Forge gave us another $2 super chat. So
thank you, North Country Forge. Appreciate that. God bless you, and everybody give them all a hand clap. All a hand clap in the comment section down below. We do appreciate it. Again, I can't say enough. I try not to be too sappy about it, but sometimes it just makes our day to just know that there's so many people that believe in the channel enough to want to support it. Everything from PayPal donations to buying Power Hammer plans to Jessica's Blacksmith cheat sheet to t-shirts, merchandise, things like that. We talked about it a little bit on my on Monday night's live stream, about me being a sellout. And we had a good rant there. Check the last Monday night live stream if you want to see the rant that was on that one. But not about selling out. It's just about people who want to take and support us. We like to offer different ways that you can support us on doing this. Otherwise, I don't know. I'd still be doing it. I guess I'd just be doing it for free, giving out the education, and then when I got paid, it would be when somebody takes a blacksmith class with me for it. Because I am passionate, if you can't tell, about blacksmithing. If anybody's, I'm going to keep talking until you give me some comments.
Okay, sure.
But I'm passionate about blacksmithing. I'm passionate about teaching. you don't like my teaching style, just wait. I'll still be here 35 years from now. You'll still get another chance to learn from me and probably take a class from me. Unless I'm dead. Again, I might be dead or incapacitated, in which case I wouldn't be forging anymore. But hopefully, by the grace of God, that won't happen.
For the Honor Forge says, I still have a box of palm fronds for you. It has spiders in it again, and I've gotten to the point where the fronds are just too annoying to work with for production work.
Well, you need to ship it to it. We need to get in contact with you. Without the spiders.
Right.
Less the spiders. Not a fan of spiders.
Kevin McIntyre said they found out that it was not cancer, and County Line Forge says, but the medical bills aren't cheap, that's for sure. Haha.
Okay, so it wasn't cancer.
Yep, and he
Praise
added,
God for that.
He did. He said the tumor came back benign, so thank God it's not cancer.
Awesome. Praise God for that. But, as we all know, whenever a doctor walks into the room and dresses your sniffles, he likes to send another kid to college. So with that being said, with the doctors in the house, we can probably assume what a surgery like that or removing a tumor would cost. So, yeah, definitely check out James at County Line Forge. Bother old Ting Ting there about making something out of my wrought iron. Tell him to put the big boy panties on there, James. Get to forging it, brother. Don't be skittered, my friend. Don't be skittered. You got plenty of wrought there to do something with.
Frank Strock says, great show as always.
Thank you, Frank Strock. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the channel. I see you're commenting on the regular, and I appreciate that.
Billy Strong says, Roy, get away from the forge and stand in the door.
Well, at this point, I'm beyond the point of saturation of heat, so I'm alright. But you're right, I probably should do that at some point. That'll be happening in the next 10 minutes when we shut it down.
For the Honor Forge, live animals are not supposed to ship over the mail, so yeah, I gotta remove the storaways. I apologize about that, I forgot. I should have gotten with you about that months ago.
Now I praise Jessica, now she has to eat a little bit of humility too.
I'm writing on my notes.
She's writing on her notes right now as we speak. So hopefully everybody enjoyed this stream. If you did, let me know. Comment section down below. And just give it a thumbs up. And then the next time that we have a live stream, share it around. If you like these sort of streams and you think that you know somebody, a blacksmithing group, an organization, a bunch of buddies that want to come watch, share the videos and the channels around a little bit. We greatly appreciate that. And whatever views and stuff, it helps me get other things like teaching gigs and you name it. More and more people. Update on subscribers. There is a lot of subscribers. We just passed 23,000 subscribers not too long ago. About to be 23,300, which is pretty amazing. Mind-blowing as well. Well on our way to 25,000 subs. So thank you all. Thank you for being there and sharing already the content.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be anywhere without you.
County Line Forge says, oh, it's coming, don't you worry. I'm still trying to think of what to make with it. Want to do something different with the wrought than a hammer. Or I could make a hammer, but that's what everybody expects.
Well, you can make whatever you want, buddy. There's plenty of wrought iron there. Oh. Plenty of wrought iron there. A lot of useful things you can make. What's up? Is that?
Yeah. For the Honor Forge, mucho gusto and heavy white SoCal accent.
Mucho gusto. Oh, jeez. Alright, well, my brain's fried. I'm cooked. It's hot. I just set this water jug on the anvil, and now it's hot and slightly melted on the bottom. So, definitely we've done a lot of hot work tonight. Be safe out there, guys and gals. Do not let yourself get overheated in your shop. If you got to take breaks, take breaks. There's no value in being heat stroked or dead. There's none at all. It's not a manly or a womanly occurrence. So don't do it. Take your time. Stay well hydrated. Get yourself a Got cooler or whatever. Hashtag not sponsored by any cooler manufacturer.
They should make a blacksmith brand one, you know, put an anvil on the side of it.
Yeah, they should.
And then sponsor a video.
Called the blacksmith's drink. What's in it? That's for the blacksmith to decide. But yeah, so stay out there, stay healthy. Couple real quick house, kind of like, I don't know, housekeeping tips and things about the channel. So with all the workload that I have that's coming on, I am trying my best not to let there be a lag in videos or video quality. The streams, if I get really tied up, very difficult, like the streams will probably be the first thing to go, or we will be reduced down on the streams to maybe only doing them for an hour at max. This is all dependent on how much work I can get done in the meantime. So that's just kind of how that has to go. I've got to make hay while I can make hay. And yeah, so I mean that's one thing. There's a lot of really neat stuff that there's that light. Even the light's overheating in the shop tonight. There's a lot of neat projects, like I said, coming up on this channel. I know you all have been insanely patient, and I greatly appreciate that. There's going to be some style format changes a little bit as I go along to the videos that I'm doing. There's a new series that I'm getting ready to release, and you guys will be seeing the new videos of that sometime here mid-July. It's called the Pro Tip Series, and I really hope everybody will enjoy that. Those are manageable for me to do in the shop, and basically they're quick little 3-minute to 4-minute videos, kind of like our 3 at 3s, but they're centered around something I'm doing, whether it's a hammer control thing, it is a fire maintenance thing, it's a working under the power hammer thing, it's a shop safety, a tool that you may want to add to your shop, yada yada yada, things like that, how to work with certain tools that are in my shop that you may own in your shop, and it's going to be a pretty exciting series. So I've already got, I believe, 24 or 26 videos of that in the video log. Those will be releasing here soon. One of the other things is I will be finishing up in the next few weeks. In the month of July, we will be fully finished with our chasing tool series. If you haven't checked that out, those all have pretty low views on them, so I don't think they're very well popular, but that's okay. For the people who are enjoying them, they're going to come out with some really nice chasing tools at the end of the deal. I'm about done with that whole series, and the way I shot that was so this way they would have evergreen value. That means you can always resource that information if you missed out on something I said, and they're broken down in 3-part series on everything. Everything from the butcher tools to all the different shaped butcher tools, they're all broken down into 3-part series for your viewing pleasure, if you will, when you go to the playlist section on them. So those will be coming to a close, but with those tools, we are going to be making some high relief chasing in steel. So that's going to be coming up. In fact, I will be using a lot of those tools on the faces of this hammerhead. So I'm going to be doing faces on the cheek pieces of this hammer, and I will be doing high relief chasing on each one of those cheek pieces. So be on the lookout for that. That's going to be kind of a long-term deal. It takes a long time. It can take up to 100 hours per face, so you won't get to see all that content, but I will try to put as much pertinent content or figure out camera time-lapsing to do it with our cameras, to do some time-lapse shots, try to make it interesting. Those are not short-form videos. Those will be very long-form videos and very in-depth, if I can make them as in-depth as I can. So that's a couple housekeeping things. We've got a new website.
Yep.
That should be easier to navigate for people. And this right now has no replay value whatsoever for anybody who's watching in the future. But Then we have a new website up. There's some additional stuff. We talked about that in last week's business live stream.
Yep.
There's some things that I am trying to make myself more available for. Everything from business consultations to teaching to demonstrating and being guest demonstrator and things like that at blacksmithing clubs and events. So if you know of an event that you want me to attend, get with your local blacksmith club and see if it's in their budget to have me down. I'm fairly reasonable on my rates. At least I think Rabba thought I was pretty reasonable on my rates. Again, it has to take me out of the shop and for however many days and stuff, but I usually do a little discounted rate than what my shop rate is in the shop, just because I enjoy teaching. I love teaching. I love getting the word out about just good ironwork. So there's a lot of good stuff on there. So if you haven't been over to the website in a while, go check it out. Plans. That's the next order of business I want to talk about. I have a pneumatic power hammer build that I will be doing. Unfortunately, because of the work, fortunately and unfortunately because of the workload, I had intended on getting that done before Quad State. That will not happen this year. It will probably, hopefully, be done by sometime in January of next year. That is what I'm hoping for, unless I get a wild hair moment and go crazy and I just happen to make it. But it takes a while to build them. It also takes a long time to film them. It also takes a long time to create documents for them as well. So don't be expecting that build until sometime in January. And I hope to do some more related tooling builds. I'm going to tear down and rebuild my bench grinder. So there should be a bench grinder build and a few other like builds like that for people who like to do the build series of the channel. So there you go. You're updated. Hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everybody just jawing away, or
let's see.
have I said too much? Said too little?
No. BG Cannon says it's been a great video.
Cool.
Your mom said hi, my kids.
Hello, my mom.
For the Honor Forge, I will watch the chasing series. Been busy working on other stuff this past 3 weeks.
Okay. Well, good.
Susan Ellis, great news on all the work. Good for you. We appreciate the videos you have time to do.
Yeah. Well, I am glad to be appreciated. I'm glad that there are my dedicated subscribers out there that appreciate the work that Jessica and I put into the channel for y'all, and that you kind of appreciate the hustle, what we're trying to do. Eventually do more teaching and do that. And it's guys and gals like you that come along and just encourage us on the daily. So you encourage us to keep going and keep after it. And there's a lot of people who, it's kind of one of those things, it's one of those reasons why I didn't ever want to go like the Patreon route. That was a video a long time ago. A lot of people, they'll get on like a Patreon thing, not all, but there's a lot of big top YouTube creators. They get a Patreon thing, they use that to fill their piggy bank, but then they put out progressively less and less stuff for their community. And just having supporters and having emotional supporters and people that are constantly investing in us on the channel, just free of their own accord and stuff like that, that is what allows. That's why we do the hand clap for everybody who does super chats. That's why we give praise to people who support the channel in other ways. We don't mention all the people who bought power hammer plans, just simply because we don't know if they want their identity revealed out there for everybody and their brother to know that they bought a power hammer plan. So it's just kind of like a customer, privacy kind of thing. But people who share and do donations and things like that, you guys allow us to do this and make it more economical to where we wouldn't have to just do it for free. It wouldn't just have to come out of our pocket. And so there you go. So Patreon will probably have been asked about it several times. That is not a direction I'll be going with this channel, not now and not in the future. So just because I want to keep the content accessible for as many people as I can. One of the things we do have in the works, it's a ways out yet, is a private subscription site that's being built right now as we speak, but it's not finished and there's not enough value there yet to have anybody subscribe to it. And that would be the only exception. It wouldn't be a Patreon. There wouldn't be a lack or a reduction of videos on this channel, by no means. Not at all. It would be a way that people could connect additionally with us, but without all the yahoos in the comment sections that want to make big, trolls, basically. It would be an uber clean site where you could feel free to ask questions without somebody else answering your question in a rude way, basically. So that will happen sometime in 2019, and we'll release that. But we're not going, as long as I still am kicking and I'm still teaching, I want to get as many people taught as I can and be here for as many people as I can. I love to hear your stories and all that good stuff. So I'm rambling on tonight, huh?
All right, yeah, you're right. Mike G says, Roy and Jessica, y'all are a blessing to all of us blacksmiths. Y'all create a friendly place for all of us to share our knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike G. Thank you. And I know a lot of you other ones that are still watching this stream. I don't know how many people there is.
39.
39 people. Dedicated. Diehards. Dedicated to the Roy Rants. And all the sentimental value. I know each and every last one of you, you like to see this channel succeed. And you guys are constantly in our comment sections with encouragement. And we greatly appreciate each and every last one of you. We really, really do. We've mentioned that 1,000 times, and I'm going to keep mentioning it till I'm blue in the face. Because it's a level of respect that, it's a level of respect that I think that viewers are due. When you take the time out of your day and your schedule to come watch me, no matter how hard I'm sweating, no matter how good my stream is or how bad my stream is, to take the time to build a community and to invest as much into our lives as we are trying to do into yours, that's an equal respect there. And so we always want to be respectful of your time. That's why I'm going to shut up now. And we always want to be respectful of your finances and any other encouragement that you want to give us. And so greatly appreciate every last one of you. Without further ado, Zippo. Love you all. Thank you for being here during this live stream. Check out Monday night's business live stream if you can.
Yep.
It'll be Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We answer all business-related questions related to blacksmithing, our business, your business, whatever. Our last one was about a six-figure income blacksmithing business or how to run that. We are going to continue that on how to scale your business and how to better market your business in Monday night's business live stream. So hope to see you all there. All right?
All right.
Is that it for everybody?
Yep, we're good.
All right. No. Well, good night, everybody.
Good night.
God bless you all, and thank you for being here.